Yummy. This is the first time I've ever had such delicious sushi. For a moment, I forgot I was in a restaurant and, as a young elementary school student, I blurted out loudly. That day, I was at a sushi restaurant for the first time in my life. I was there as a reward for my good mock exam results, brought by my father. "Eat whatever you like," he said. He must have been in a really good mood. My father said this with a smile. While I was enjoying the sushi, I was fascinated by the chef at the counter, who was making sushi as if performing magic. Whether he knew I was watching or not, the chef continued to make sushi with a smile. Sometimes he'd say, "Watch closely, young man," and deliberately make sushi right in front of me. That day, not only my stomach but also my heart was filled, and I went home content. From now on, if you do well on your tests, I'll take you out to eat whatever you want, my father said on the way home. I wondered if he was serious, as he had had quite a bit to drink. Noticing my thoughts, he became a bit more serious and said, "Don't worry, I'll keep my promise." From then on, eating out became a customary reward for my good mock exam results. "You can choose anywhere you like," my father would say, but I always picked that sushi restaurant. I wanted to eat sushi, of course, but watching the chef make sushi was my greatest joy. "Understood," my father said on the day of the final exam results before my private middle school entrance exam. "Sorry, I wasn't listening." When I said that, my father said, "Listen up, this is important," and started speaking again. I wanted to go to college, but my parents said they couldn't afford it, so I couldn't go. "I want you to go to college, preferably somewhere your cousins can't easily get into. Get into a good college. Then your future will be secure. Remember, it's a promise between men." I thought, I can't just agree to a promise like that, but I said, "Understood." I worked hard to meet my father's expectations. Thanks to my efforts, I was able to attend a well-known private middle school in my area and got accepted into one of the top high schools in the state. Though it's odd to say it myself, I was top of my class in high school and managed to get into a university my cousins couldn't easily attend, just as my father wanted. Having been focused solely on my studies up to high school, I was the same age as the number of years I'd been without a girlfriend. However, in my third year of university, I got a girlfriend. She was 2 years younger than me, named Ashley. I met Ashley at a drinking party held jointly by several universities. I was talkative because I'd been drinking, and Ashley, being underage and only drinking juice, was a good listener. After going home, I regretted talking too much. I wanted to see her again, but I thought I might have been too forward and didn't contact her. A few days later, an unexpected development occurred. "Have you contacted Ashley?" a friend from my club asked me. I didn't understand why he'd say that. "Ashley said she had the most fun talking to you. You should definitely contact her." Hearing that, I wanted to jump for joy. So, I decided to send Ashley a text. But I had no idea what to write. After much deliberation, I sent a simple "It's been a while. How are you?" I regretted not being able to come up with a single clever line, cursing my low romance quotient. Ashley replied surprisingly quickly. "It's been a while. I'm glad. I thought you wouldn't contact me again." I spontaneously did a fist pump. From then on, I was embarrassingly forward. As soon as I got a reply from Ashley, I responded immediately. I thought if I missed this chance, there wouldn't be another, so, desperate, I believed that responding quickly was the best way to make a good impression. Looking back, it was almost comical how eager I was. But somehow, my efforts paid off, and Ashley agreed to date me. Right after Ashley and I started dating, the job hunting season began in earnest. I didn't have any specific career or company in mind. I just vaguely hoped to find a job close to the university. I felt this way because I didn't want to reduce the time I could spend with Ashley after getting a job. But Ashley was different. She had researched companies more thoroughly than me. "This one seems good," she'd say, showing me a job guide with sticky notes. I ended up taking the entrance exams for the companies Ashley suggested. In job interviews, I felt a good response everywhere. It was then I first realized the high brand value of my university in the corporate world. It turns out, big companies choose based on university, not personality. I thought. So, even though I got offers from several companies, I ultimately let Ashley make the final decision. Ashley's eyes sparkled as she looked through the company brochure where I got the job. Maybe she's thinking about our life together after marriage, I thought to myself, watching Ashley. The company Ashley chose had overseas branches and was headquartered in New York. It was about a 2-hour drive from where the university was located. I was worried about having less time to see Ashley. "Don't worry, after graduation, I'll move to New York too. It's only 2 years that we'll have less time to see each other," Ashley said nonchalantly. I thought she's strong. But I was mistaken. I really didn't understand anything. 2 years after I graduated, just as Ashley had said, she moved to New York. We started living together, becoming even closer than during our university days. Ashley was truly kind and accepting. So, we never fought. And a year later, we get married. Married life was happy. Work was busy every day, and I often came home late. But no matter how tired I was, my lovely wife was there to welcome me. Coming home was what I looked forward to most. But about a year later, our married life changed dramatically. A global economic shock hit, and the company I worked for took a major blow, even going bankrupt. Faced with this unforeseen event, I was at a loss. But more distraught than me was Ashley. She blamed herself because the company she recommended went bankrupt. Seeing her like that, I thought, I need to be strong for her. I took Ashley's hand, trying to cheer her up, and said, "It's going to be tough, but let's get through this together." I expected her usual smile, saying, "Yes, let's do our best." But her reaction was something I never imagined. Ashley pulled her hand away. "What's the point of being married to you if it's like this?" Ashley said, clearly angry. Disgusted with me might be the right way to describe it. "What's the point of being with someone like you, who has no special qualities, got you a job at a well-paying company, only for you to become unemployed as soon as we get married? This ruins all my plans for the future," she said. I felt a chill down my spine. Was this really what my wife was saying? Ashley went straight into the bedroom and locked the door. From then on, she lived in a way to avoid seeing me much. I thought a lot. Was that really her true feelings? Was she just confused and said it? But, is this what love is? How did I come to love Ashley? Why did we get married? What should I do now? Divorce. A cold, dismissive voice said. "Huh?" Lost in my thoughts, I turned around to see Ashley behind me with papers in hand. It was a divorce document. "You're the reason for the divorce, so you should be the one to leave," she said. Huh? Confused, I was left alone as Ashley went back to the bedroom. I had no desire to persuade Ashley. The next day, I applied divorce and left the apartment with my belongings. I remembered what my father used to say. Get into a good university, and your future will be secure. But what about reality? Even graduating from a good university, you're unemployed if your company goes bankrupt. Unemployed, and then divorced. Even if you're smart and do well in school, you know nothing about the real world. I'm really hopeless, aren't I? Having lost my job and separated from my wife, I wasn't at rock bottom. Surprisingly, I found myself bursting into laughter. I felt a sense of clarity. This was the first time I ever felt this way. Then, I went wherever I wanted, staying wherever I liked. I discovered that even budget hotels could be quite relaxing and comfortable. During this time, I overheard someone speaking somewhere in the city. I don't want to go to work. If only I could live just doing what I love." Doing what I love. Yes, that's it, I thought. I headed to a specific place. It was a high-end sushi restaurant I used to frequent, located near the company I had worked for. Often used for business entertaining, it was well known for its quality. "Welcome," the owner of the sushi restaurant said, recognizing me as I entered. She must have known about the company's bankruptcy. "You've had a hard time, haven't you?" she said with a complex expression. The head chef, Robert, also came out to talk to me. "Hey, is this a farewell visit?" Cutting off Robert's words, I said, "Please, let me work here." Robert looked surprised at first, but then quickly furrowed his brows, a look of bewilderment crossing his face. It was a look of perplexity. "I'm serious. I'll do anything. Please hire me here," I pleaded. At first, Robert tried to refuse my offer, coming up with various reasons. At that time, I was already over 25 years old. Even if you start after high school graduation, it's considered late to become a fully fledged sushi chef. It's going to require tremendous effort, and there's no guarantee of success. If I think there's no hope, I'll have to let you go. Are you still willing to do it? Even after Robert said this, I had no doubts. It seemed like Robert gave in because of my persistence. "Be here early tomorrow morning," he said. Since then, I worked harder than ever, much more than when I was in a corporate job. I arrived first thing in the morning to clean. I willingly took on tasks that other staff disliked. Robert was a man of few words, a true sushi chef. He was strict and allowed no compromises. I was scolded many times, even for minor things. I aimed to work in the kitchen as soon as possible, but it was harder than I expected. As Robert had said, the path to becoming a sushi chef was not easy. Honestly, there were times I wanted to run away. During those times, I remembered the magician-like sushi chef I saw in the sushi restaurant my father took me to when I was in elementary school. About 2 years after I started working with Robert, he said, "Help with the preparation." I felt like I finally took my first step as a sushi chef and was delighted. Robert believed in learning by observation, saying, "Steal the skills from me." I worked alongside Robert, making sure not to miss a single movement. Had I ever been this earnest about work? I felt fulfilled every day. By the way, do you have someone special? One day, while working in the kitchen, Robert asked me. At first, I didn't understand what he meant. Seeing me confused, Robert said a bit angrily, "I mean, do you have a girlfriend, you slowpoke?" No, I don't." "What do you think about her?" Robert gestured with his head. Robert had a 25-year-old daughter. Anyone could see Robert doted on her, his only child. She was as kind-hearted as her mother, the owner. She was straightforward, saying what was bad, and what was good, regardless of who she was talking to. Her strength of character was just like her father, Robert. For me, it was an unreachable dream. Or so I thought, as I had secretly harbored feelings for the daughter over the years I spent in the restaurant. I was worried that if Robert found out, he would kick me out. So, I was caught off guard. "But I'm divorced. Even if I'm okay with it, what about your daughter?" "You fool. My wife has already checked her feelings, and it doesn't matter if you're once or twice divorced. What's important are the feelings. Nothing else." Robert said this with a hearty laugh. A few months later, I got married for the second time. My wife and I had our share of fights, but our bond grew stronger afterward. It felt different from my first marriage. I could sense what a true marital relationship should be. We were blessed with 2 children. When I was in my mid-30s, Robert allowed me to start my own sushi restaurant. "Make sure you uphold our flavors," he said, sending me off. A few days after I opened my restaurant, an unexpected person came in as a customer. It was my ex-wife from 10 years ago. Beside my ex-wife, there seemed to be her new husband and a child of elementary school age. I immediately recognized her, but she seemed indifferent, chatting with her family. When the child said, "This is delicious," my ex-wife spoke to the child. "Remember this, get into a good university and land a good job. Then you can eat sushi like this anytime you want," she said while eating the sushi I had prepared. Since my ex-wife's family came in late, they stayed almost until closing. As I finished seeing off all the other customers, a voice called out from behind me. "Can I have a word?" I heard a voice from behind me. It was a nasty, cold voice. When I turned around, my ex-wife was standing there. When I looked around, Ashley said, "It's okay, I sent them home first." She had waited after sending her family home first. "What do you want?" I asked, and she abruptly said, "You've really fallen low, haven't you? From a top university graduate to a good company, and now this, a sushi chef. What are you thinking? It's unbelievable." I doubted her humanity, suddenly speaking like this. I never thought the woman I once loved and shared a brief life with could be so petty at heart. I was so taken aback by this unexpected situation that I was lost for words. "After all, it was your fault that my remarriage was so difficult," she began, as if spewing out her feelings of the past 10 years. "Just stop it." After a while, someone spoke from behind me. It was Robert, who had become my father-in-law. He had come to check how well I was managing the restaurant. Robert walked past me and stood in front of my ex-wife. "You were the one who drove him away when he was at his lowest. So, how you've lived your life since then is none of his concern. He's carved out his own path, worked tirelessly, and now owns this restaurant. You might look down on a sushi chef, but I work with pride. And so does he. You chose a man based on his educational background and relied on a man for your life. That's a world you wouldn't understand. We have the right to choose our customers here. Please don't come back to this restaurant again," Robert said to my ex-wife in a stern tone. It was rare for the usually quiet Robert to speak so much at once. Clearly, he was deeply upset. My ex-wife looked stunned. "You need to be strong too," he said, smacking me hard on the back. Thanks to this, my restaurant became well known in the neighborhood. I gained a regular clientele. But since that day, my ex-wife has never visited again. I can run my business without any reservations, doing what I love. I consider that day's event the best opening gift I could have received from my father-in-law.